you're really pretty. So I'm like, what? Typical Bronx chick, right? What? He like, I'm like, you need to work on your attitude. So I'm like, what do you mean?
So, is Remy Ma and Papoose actually back together? Is that the reason Claressa Shields has been going off all over the internet and all that drama? We've got to break it down. Hey fam, it's Anonymous T, spilling the tea anonymously, of course. Hello, 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 everyone. YouTubers, I hope you're all having an amazing day, sending good vibes, positivity, blessings, and energy to every single one of you. Thanks so much for tuning in. So, just a reminder, everything I say is alleged, totally my personal take and for entertainment purposes only. Nothing here is personal. The Copyright Act of 1976 is linked in the description box for reference. All right, let's get into some meat and potatoes. Little housekeeping first. Today, we're diving back into the Remy Ma and Papoose saga, Claressa Shields, and why this is the ultimate lesson about never messing with married men. This is why you do not, I repeat, do not involve yourself in someone else's marital business and the drama that follows. But first, we have to talk about Claressa Shields because it looks like Papoose might actually be back with her. She posted some proof of life on Snappity Chat, showing him at the gym with her, helping her work out, practicing punches, all of that. However, before that, Claressa got on camera showing, I think, a baked sweet potato, and it was hilarious because she had previously promised she wouldn't eat on camera anymore. But after disappearing from the internet for a hot minute, getting dragged for calling in to Hood Champion Sports, pretending to be someone else, and then literally calling in as herself, she decided to pop back on Snappity Chat and say a whole bunch of nonsense. You guys, it was hilarious because she did a few things, so it looks like she didn't even make Papoose any food. It sounded like he got DoorDash, Uber Eats, whatever, because in the background she's talking to her friend or whoever saying, this is what Papoose ordered. So takeout, delivery, DoorDash, he wasn't trying to eat what Claressa Shields was cooking. Off the rip, y'all, that already tells me everything I need to know. But here's what had me laughing. Claressa Shields is out here talking all about haters, false narratives, and all this foolishness. She's trying to act calm, like she's above it all, above the negativity, above the drama. And then she drops disclaimers. She's like, I'm going to do better, though. I'm learning. These crazy people don't care about the truth. The lies are more entertaining, so that's what they will continue to do. But I'm not going to let these miserable people affect my beautiful best life, right? And then another one, no slander will be tolerated. Why? I don't have to. Laughing emojis. I don't have to accept trolling from nobody. This is my page. Beautiful, blessed, success, life. Okay, so she's sending a message to anyone trolling her on Snappity Chat. Basically, I will block you. But here's the tea. You can't control what everyone says on the internet. It's impossible. People aren't going to just stand by with Papoose until there's proof in a divorce decree that he and Remy Ma are officially divorced. Speaking of Remy Ma, y'all, we've got to get into this clip. Full transparency, I don't know if this is an old clip or a new clip, right? But it was posted on Remy Ma's YouTube, which I believe has almost 300,000 subscribers, just a few days ago. And as of yesterday, we know Papoose was still in New York with Remy and their daughter. So,
You know what? You're really pretty. So I'm like, what? Typical Bronx chick, right? What? He like, I'm like, you need to work on your attitude. So I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, what do you mean work on my attitude? He's like, your attitude blocks your beauty. He's like, when you're being mean and nasty and your attitude is how your attitude is, it's like a brick wall. But when you're being nice, it's like a brick wall is removed and I can see all your beauty. Like, bruh, all you have to do is say I look cute today. Like, you didn't have to do all that. You didn't have to make this whole philosophy, okay? Say I look cute this morning. Just say I'm glowing this morning, okay? I scrub my face, nice and shiny, it's clean. Just say that. All right? Hold on.
now here's the thing. No, really, here's the thing. I want to be fully transparent, like I've said, because that video is about 23 minutes long in total. There were certain things Remy Ma said that made me think this might be an older video. But listen, I also feel like it was posted very intentionally because she's talking about feeling good, saying things like, "My husband tells me I'm beautiful, you just gotta fix your attitude," all of that. And to me, it feels like she has that same energy again when it comes to her husband. You know what I mean? So I took it as the purpose of posting wasn't random. There were multiple things at play, including the fact that she's never really struggled with people coming for her looks because she's confident and constantly affirmed that she's beautiful, right? And on top of that, she's in a good mood, showing she can be makeup-free, relaxed, comfortable, just waking up and her husband is telling her she's beautiful. We also know that when this was posted, Papoose was still in New York, you feel me? But at the same time, the full video included mentions of a recent death in the family. It also talked about taking the kids to Disney, which is why I'm leaning toward this being an older clip. However, I think the context of posting it right now was very deliberate, to say, when my husband is in town, when I call Papoose, he shows up. You know what I'm saying? We have a solid co-parenting situation. And honestly, I think the intent was to mess with Claressa Shields. I really think the goal was to knock Claressa completely off her square. Exactly. That's the core of it. Think about it. If you're supposedly going through a divorce, supposedly done with Papoose, why would this video get uploaded now? It's not just casual posting. It's sending a very clear message. This is my husband. He's here. He's mine. And yeah, part of it is to rub Claressa Shields the wrong way, but it's also a flex of sorts. There's so much subtle shade packed in here. Claressa had to fight tooth and nail just to get any semblance of affection or attention from Papoose, while with Remy Ma, it seems effortless. Just a look, a compliment, a few words, and the affection is flowing. And this reinforces a key point. You cannot mess with a married man, especially one who hasn't fully wanted the divorce. That's why Papoose was reportedly comfortable crashing on Remy Ma's couch for as long as he did. Remy Ma was the one who essentially said, "Pick up your clothes, they're folded," setting boundaries and holding him accountable. Meanwhile, there were claims that Papoose had been pawning her jewelry for cash. Now, things have allegedly shifted. He's bringing in his own income, got a little drip, and isn't sleeping on her couch anymore. That shift might be exactly why there's renewed interest and energy in Remy Ma's camp. It could be a mix of pride, security, and timing. Bottom line, the video isn't just about nostalgia. It's about control, messaging, and a clear statement to anyone watching, especially Claressa Shields. If you want, I can break down exactly why this timing matters in the context of the Papoose-Remy-Claressa dynamic. It's actually a pretty strategic play. Exactly, that's a key part of the dynamic. Claressa Shields is operating from a place of assumption rather than observation. She wasn't in New York with Papoose, so anything she says about what he was doing there is based on speculation, gossip, or whatever she was told, not first-hand knowledge. The bigger picture is that Papoose is still a married man, legally tied to Remy Ma. Even if he's separated or the divorce was delayed, the relationship and the legal status don't just disappear. Claressa's frustration seems to come from trying to compete for his attention, rather than recognizing that he's unavailable in a literal and legal sense. The divorce timeline adds even more context. Remy Ma had everything lined up with her attorneys, but Papoose reportedly refused to sign, which stalled the process. That's why the filings in May last year were likely influenced by Claressa's public pressure. Interviews, visibility, and the scrutiny of the Breakfast Club and other outlets made the divorce unavoidable. When Remy Ma's holiday receipts came out showing her spending time with Papoose, that directly contradicted Claressa's claim that he didn't spend the holidays with his ex. It's a stark reminder that public perception can be very different from reality, and that trying to win someone who is legally married is a losing game. At this point, Claressa seems to treat Papoose like a competition or a prize, not as a man whose legal and emotional ties are with someone else. That mindset is what keeps her frustrated and publicly reactive, because she's playing in a scenario where the rules are already set, but she's trying to rewrite them in her favor. If you want, I can break down how this mindset affects the way she's presenting herself online and why the public sees it as performative versus genuine. That part is really interesting. What makes this situation even grimmer is the fact that Claressa Shields was once reaching out to Remy Ma for styling tips and trying to befriend her, and now she is involved with Remy Ma's husband. This behavior suggests a blatant disregard for how she treats others and the consequences of her actions. It seems inevitable that this situation is going to come crashing down. Claressa Shields may not have realized that she is essentially lost to Remy Ma, who has the authority and presence to pick up Papoose whenever she chooses, as was recently displayed when Papoose was in New York. The video posted by Remy Ma, whether old or new, clearly shows that her husband is present and attentive, affirming that she doesn't need to convince anyone of his interest. He openly shows it. For Claressa, this only makes things look worse, especially since she has tied much of her identity to Papoose. Observers wish she would focus more on her career and personal goals instead of this drama. Yet her involvement with a married man has made the situation so uncomfortable that it cannot be unnoticed. People are discussing the trolling, facts, insecurities, controversies, and even threats because it's become a trending topic. Fans are watching closely, anticipating how it will end, and their attention isn't coming from a place of hate. They simply want this sham to be over and for Claressa Shields to step back from the chaos. I honestly don't know how much longer we have to endure this foolishness and these ongoing shenanigans. The truth is, I don't foresee Remy Ma stopping her trolling anytime soon.